All right, so let's talk about townhouses. Townhouses are kind of a sweet spot. You do get your own private space, and at the same time, they're more affordable than a fully detached houses. But getting a wrong townhouse can come up with a lot of headaches, can cost you thousands of dollars, and can make it impossible to resell it down the line. So in today's video, I'm going to show you what type of townhouses you should never buy, and I'm going to explain why they are red flags. So if you get any value out of this content, please hit the like button. Also, please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps a small channel like this to grow. And if you got any questions about real estate, you can book a call with us by clicking on the first link mentioned in the description below. So first, I would never buy a townhouse with a bad floor plan or a layout. Sounds pretty obvious, but at times this get overlooked. So I'm just going to show you the floor plan. I'm going to and explain you why. So here you can see that's the entryway of the townhouse, and there's not much of a space to set up a TV. Just right from the entrance, there's the stairs, and then over there, sure, you can set up a couch, but not much of a space to set up a TV. So basically, you won't be able to set up a living area in the best possible manner. Let me show you a few pictures for a quick reference. So that's the entryway I was talking about. If you set up TV, it's not going to be ideal. And if you set up a TV right, sure, you can set up a TV here, but the distance between the TV and the couch or the living area is not going to be ideal because the lot is already a bit narrow. So these are the pictures. Overall, it's a nice house. I'm not denying that, but thing is, to set up a living area is not that ideal. Further, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to talk about condo townhouses in a condo building. You might get convenience of the condo amenities for sure. If the townhouse is in a condo building, but generally you don't get much of a sunlight exposure in a townhouse or a condo townhouse if it's in a condo building. If you see this picture or the layout, only sunlight or the light exposure you're getting, or the only window is from the entrance of the house. That is right over here. That's the same townhouse I was just showing you the pictures of. That's the only sunlight exposure you're getting. Rest, there's no windows on rest of the townhouse, so which is not that ideal. It sounds very obvious, but at times I've seen clients, when I show them around, they like the townhouse, but then I highlight these facts or red flags, then they realize, okay, sure. So these are things I would definitely keep an eye on, keep an eye out on. Next is we're going to talk about townhouse. Avoid a townhouse with the Kitec plumbing. So Kitec plumbing is basically, you can see on the screen, which is orange and blue pipes in a house. If you see those, that's a red flag. They were basically aluminium and copper and a plastic pipes. The reason they were introduced were because they were a cheaper alternative as opposed to standard piping, but these are more prone to cracking and bursting, which can lead to flooding in a house. So that's the major red flag, and because of that, now everyone is getting rid of those if there are any in a condo townhouse or in a townhouse, or even in some cases in a freehold properties too. These were installed between the timeline of 1995 to 2007, and insurance companies don't provide insurance if the housing has if the condo townhouse or a townhouse has a Kitec plumbing. So definitely I would get a home inspection done for a condo townhouse, or make sure that you ask the seller that if there is a Kitec plumbing in a house or not. But getting a home inspection done would be an ideal scenario if you're buying a condo townhouse or a townhouse, in my opinion, to make sure there's no Kitec plumbing in there. And Kitec plumbing is generally in Toronto now, they have reduced because a lot of owners have replaced this Kitec plumbing with a normal plumbing. But generally, what I've seen is if you want to replace a Kitec plumbing, it costs about like $10,000 to $15,000 to replace a Kitec plumbing. Next up, I would avoid buying a townhouse with an open building permit. This is more of applicable to all freehold properties, not just townhouse. So building permits are basically issued by the city if any homeowners they want to get a renovation done or a demolition done onto the house. So once they issue the building permit, and once the renovations are done, the city comes to the property, they do the inspection, and then close the permit if everything is in line. When I say everything is in line, that if the renovations were done as per the building code and in a proper manner. But if you end up buying a property with a open permit, the responsibility gets transferred to you as a new buyer. So you inherit all the responsibility, no matter how and when and in what way the renovations were done. Okay. Further, there's a possible enforcement fees and penalties. So as I said, the responsibility is, or the onus is on you as a new buyer. So if if the work was not done in a proper way, then you have to pay the penalties. For example, I'm going to show an example which happened in the city. That is a case between these two parties with an open building permit for a garage led to a demolition and a $110,000 rebuilding cost, which was on the new buyer. So we have to be careful of these things before buying a townhouse, because the onus or the responsibility can come onto you as a new buyer. So as a buyer, you can simply go on city's website and check out if the property has a open permit or not, and I'm going to show that to you now. So here on the screen, you can see that I'm on the city's website. I'm going to put the link in the description below for your a quick reference. So you just Google it, building application status, City of Toronto. And if you're outside of Toronto, that is in suburb, you can put that specific city, let's say City of Pickering, building application status, and it'll show you the data. And here, for example, I'm on the east end of the city, and I'm just going to go on this property, let's say 58 Kent Road. This is public data, by the way. So I'm going to go up over here. It says semi-detached, and here you can see partition wall admin permits. So basically, they're doing something on the partition wall. So on a semi-detached, you're sharing a wall. Just in a townhouse too, you're going to share wall on both sides. In a semi-detached, you're going to share the wall on one side. If you're buying, supposedly, let's say hypothetically, I'm just giving an example. If you're buying this property, then this has an open permit. So this is something you have to discuss with the seller, or your realtor can do that and see what's going on. And for example, hypothetically, let's say you were buying a property next door, that is 60 Kent Road, for example, hypothetically, right? And then again, it matters to you because it's a semi-detached, you're sharing the wall. If anything or any renovations are happening on the neighbor's property, that affect you too. So this due diligence can come in handy if you're buying a neighbor's property too, or the, let's say, 60 Kent Road. I hope I was able to make my point. So this, I would definitely do this due diligence before buying any property, as a matter of fact, in the city, because this will give you tons of information. And not only just building permits, you can also look for zoning review. For example, I'm going to go on zoning review, and this is 9 Dawson Avenue. I just pulled up this example. And now if I click on this zoning review, it says proposal to construct a 3-story single family dwelling and detached garage with a green roof. So let's say this is the address is 9 Dawson Avenue, and you were buying a property next door to this, let's say 7 Dawson Avenue. So now if there's a 3-story coming up, that's going to affect your sunlight or maybe whatnot. Like maybe it has other effects. I've not seen the property in person. I'm just giving an example. So these type of review does come in handy and can help you and can save you with a lot of headaches and unexpected surprises. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about other buying traps for townhouses which you should avoid. First is check neighbor's house condition. So in a townhouse, as I mentioned earlier, both the walls are shared on the left and right side. Both the walls are shared with other neighbors. So if there's any problem on the neighbor's end or on neighbor's property, that's going to cost you in some or the other way. Let's say there's a roofing problem that might affect you in some capacity. Let's say there's a leakage or a water damage in the roof or in the house, on your neighbor's house, then it's going to impact you as well in some or the other way. So while viewing the property or while viewing the townhouse, I would suggest just take a look of the neighbor's property from outside, just to get an idea how they've kept it from outside. You will get some sense of it. That's my recommendation here. And I would definitely consider this point before buying a townhouse or before putting an offer to a townhouse. Next is check for legal front parking pad eligibility. So in Toronto, if you want to park your car on the front parking pad, in most cases, you do need to get a permit from the building. You can check that eligibility by going on city's website. I'm just going to show you real quick. So let's talk about that. So this is city's website. You can just Google it, front parking pad, Toronto, City of Toronto, and this will show up. And I'm going to put this link in the description below as well for a quick reference. And if you go on license location over here, click on street index, it's going to show you a PDF right over here, and you can just control F the address, and you can see if that house has eligibility to park on the front pad or not. Third is look for a poor drainage system in a house. So a lot of times you see in a house where the drainage system is not the best, and you can see a water collector in this example, and this is a major red flag because the water is going to seep in and it's going to impact the foundation of the house. One more example, if you see if a townhouse is located, this is not a townhouse, but I'm just giving an example. Over here you can see the house has a negative slope. So if there's a rainfall, or let's say there's any water coming from this slope, it's going to go towards the house. It should be doing the opposite. The water should be going away from the house. But in this case, you can see it's the negative slope. The water is going to seep through the walls and going to impact the foundation. Again, it's a red flag. But definitely get a home inspector to get the inspection, and they will guide you more on this. Also, downspout is in this case, have a proper downspout. Here you can see a downspout is just off of the wall, and again it's pouring water close to the foundation of the or close to the wall of the house, and it's going to seep, the water is going to seep through in and again impact the foundation. Quick fix for this is you can put a downspout extension which will take the water away from the house. These things, just take care of these things because these things look minor, but they do have a huge impact on the house down the line. Fifth, I would say if you are buying a condo townhouse, then do get a status certificate reviewed by a lawyer to check if there are any lawsuits onto the condo townhouses. Are there any low reserve fund? Are there any special assessments? If there's one of these cases, then it's a red flag because special assessments is going to take so much money out of the reserve fund, and it's going to impact your monthly maintenance fees, and it's going to break the bank of yours too. So these are things I would definitely consider. So overall, if you can check all these boxes before putting an offer to a townhouse or before buying a townhouse, I think you'll be pretty much safe and you will be happy with your purchase. I hope I was able to give you some value. If I did, please hit the like button. Also, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm just shy of 1,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate if you can please subscribe. And also, if you're someone who's looking to buy a townhouse in the near future, I would definitely check out this video, which I'm going to put on the screen, because that's going to give you a sense, or that's going to give you an idea what kind of townhouse you can buy, at what price point, and in what are the good locations for a townhouse. Do let me know in the comments what you think about it. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.